Hey guys, so today I'm filming my monthly makeup basket for April. I know I'm a little late on this, I do apologize, but let's just jump right in. So I've chosen 4 nail polishes for this month. First off, I have the Sally Hansen Extreme Wear in Mint Sorbet. This is the OG formula. I have what I'm wearing today. This is Essie's Bikini So Teeny. Next I have one of my all-time favorite peach nail polishes. This is Formula X Alive. And lastly, I have another one of my holy grail polishes. This is OPI You're Such a Budapest, the most perfect purple periwinkle ever. Love this shade. Moving on to eyebrows, I have my NYX Eyebrow Shaper Wax Pencil. I have my e.l.f. Instant Lift Brow Pencil in Taupe. I have my Milani Brow Fix Kit in Light. I have my NYX Jumbo Pencil in Milk as a brow bone highlight. And I will be setting my brows in place with the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Plumper in the shade Light to Medium. Moving on to complexion products. For primers, I have 2. I am back to using the Makeup Forever Mattifying Primer. I don't like this, but I'm going to try to push through. This primer just pills up on my skin and I feel like I'm just wiping off little flakes. I really don't like this. It doesn't work for me, but this was $16. So I want to try to keep using this and hopefully it will start working for me. And then I also have my Smashbox Pore Minimizing Primer to fill in my pores. For foundation, I have a combination. I'm using the Estee Lauder Double Wear in the shade 1W1 Bone and the Hard Candy Glamoflague in the shade Porcelain. For concealer, I have 2. Under my eyes, I will be using the Estee Lauder Double Wear in Light, and on my blemishes, I'll be using my MAC Pro Longwear in NC15. For under eye setting powder, I have been using a new combination. I'm first going in and setting under the eye with the Ben Nye Cameo powder. I've just put it in this little jar because it's just easier to use the product instead of that little opening on the Ben Nye powders. And then I am taking a little bit of my MAC shaping powder in Emphasize just to help brighten and highlight under the eye. And for my all over face powder, I'm using the NYX Stay Matte But Not Flat in the shade Ivory. Moving on to cheek products. For my powder, bronzer, and contour, I'm using the Milani Matte Baked Bronzers, Sunset for the bronzer and Sienna for the contour. I also have my 2 ColourPop bronzers. I have Paradise Cove, the satin finish I use as a bronzer, and I have Skinny Dip, the matte finish I use as a contour. To highlight, I have my Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector Pressed in the shade Pearl. Moving on to blushes, I have 5. The first is what I'm wearing today. This is the Maybelline Dream Bouncy Blush in the shade Candy Coral. I have the Tarte Amazonian Clay Blush in the shade Fantastic. I have Benefit Coralista. I also have the 2 Milani Matte Baked Blushes in the shades Delicioso Pink and Bella Rosa. Now moving on to eyes. For primer, I have the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion. Then I do have those 2 neutral go-to looks. For my first go-to look, it is this little trio of products. As a base on my lid, I'm using the Maybelline Color Tattoo in the shade Barely Beige. As a transition color, I'm using the Milani Bella Eyes eyeshadow in the shade Bella Cappuccino. And for my lid and crease color, I'm using the Wet n Wild Walking on Eggshells trio. I also have the Balm Meet Matte Nude palette for my all matte warm tone neutral eye. For my colorful shadows of the month, I'm going to be using my Makeup Geek palette. I'm going to be focusing on this center row, but especially the mint shade Sure Thing and this beautiful purple Carnival. For my palette of the month, I will be using the Anastasia Tomato palette. Eyeliner, I'm using the Physicians Formula Eye Booster. For mascara, I'm using a combination of the Benefit Roller Lash and the Urban Decay Perversion. So lastly, for lip products, I have a mix of purples, pinks, and a peach. First, I have what I'm wearing on my lips today. This is the Revlon Just Bitten Kissable Balm Stain in the shade Darling. Next, I have the Stila Color Balm Lipstick in the shade Avery. I have the ColourPop Lippy Stick in the shade Westy, which has a matte finish. This is one of my ColourPop must-haves. Next, I have the ColourPop Lippy Stick in Brills, which is a satin finish. This is a very dusty gray tone lilac shade. And lastly, I have a combo. I have the Revlon Super Lustrous Lipstick in the shade Primrose. And I will be topping that off with the NYX Butter Gloss in Meringue. So guys, that was my monthly makeup basket for April 2016. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye guys.